Hola, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the finale of the Reliable HVACR podcast. And we'll address the rumors and the future of content in this episode. But thank you for all the support in this journey. Make sure you are subscribed to the podcast channel for some content from AHR. Also on Spotify, Apple Podcast, anywhere you have listened to this, please leave a review. I would greatly appreciate that. And thank you to all the guests that we've had so far, season 1, season 2. I have had some really great conversations, and all the feedback from the viewers, the listeners, has been nothing but amazing. That's always what makes me realize that I'm, that it's doing well and helpful to certain people, and I hope it helps. Also, if you want to stay up to date with everything that I have going on, go to reliablehvacr.net. I just want to say the award show was great. I had to present. It was more nerve-wracking to do that than to actually win the award that you see back here that I proudly showcase. And I was honored to be able to give that and present it to the next winner, which was Francisco Pastor. And amazing content, well deserved. Congrats to you, man. So the award show was great. I don't know how Ben does it. It is a great show. Some people get upset. Some people like to talk. It is what it is. But we mind our own business over here, and I had fun. Also, congrats to our fellow HVAC Knight, Curtis, for winning the new award that they had now, the YouTube Channel of the Year. And, check us out on HVAC Nights every Thursday live on YouTube. It's also anywhere you listen to your podcast. And we all made it out there to the Orlando Expo, and it was super fun to see the guys do our podcast pavilion. That'll be up as well, probably in the next day. So go check that out. The podcast pavilion. We had the nights on Monday. Then we had this show that I'm about to share with you with the HVAC visionaries. The goal in mind was always to get all of them assembled together for one big show, and I am so happy that we got to do it in person. You have Adam, Wolf of HVAC. You had Efren, Pure on Parole, Garrett, G. Torrey HVAC, and Logan, Snow King of HVAC. Proud of them all. They've done really well in their young careers. I mean, they're getting into those middle years now, but they've always been great, humble, and just good kids. So super honored to have them on. We'll talk about different generations of techs in the trade, future, past, all that kind of conversation, and just, real life stuff like we always do here on the podcast. So really quickly, this podcast is brought to you by Local HQ. Conquer your local service area. Digital marketing for home service contractors that won't leave you lost at sea. They help new customers find you on the web. Their digital marketing strategies include SEO, paid ads, Google business profile optimization, and website design. If you guys go to my work website, you can see for yourself how it works. I've worked with them on our SEO and Google business profile. And you can go to the link down below, mention me or the Reliable Podcast, and you can get some of their SEO for free. The CRM that we use at our business, Jobber, you can get a free trial and discount if you use the link down below. And it helps me run the business even when I take trips like this out of state, actually. So I'm able to stay connected to my business, to my team, get invoices, sent over, emailed, work on pricing and quoting and anything of that nature. And they're building more automation and AI coming very soon. I think some of it's already coming out. So go check them out. Like I said, you get a free trial and discount. Why not just give it a shot? For us, it made it night and day. And they also have a Jobber Summit if you guys want to sign up for that. Everything is in my website. So just stay up to date and go visit the website and sign up for the summit. maybe try out the software. There's no risk involved. And I don't want to have any interruptions throughout this episode. It was a very special one for me. Like I said, the last one ever of the Reliable HVACR podcast, and a great group of friends. So I also want to thank Diversitech, who has been a longtime supporter and sponsor of this podcast and believing in me. It's your one-stop shop for everything HVAC related. You can get parts from Packard. You can get tools from Hillmore, which I'm very excited for that battery-powered pump that they have coming out. They also have Speed Clean, which is a portable pressure rinser. Not a pressure washer, but to clean those coils, which integrates coil cleaner into it. So they have that. They have a lot of mounting accessories and stuff like that for mini splits and pads for the AC systems, the condenser pads and motors and things like that. I basically use a lot of Diversitech parts and tools in my van, and I'm sure if you look, you're going to see the same. Also, Eric's, which I've gotten so many compliments for these Eric's penetration covers for your line sets on a residential system. It could be used in a commercial application as well, but basically they are these covers. Once you run your line set through, instead of just foaming it up or leaving it all ugly, they do have some really nice kits, and now they have some that you can separate the plates and go over existing units. That way it doesn't have to be done on only a new install. So go check out Eric's. I've used them before. I've gotten plenty of compliments when we do use them, and they have different shapes and models and all that stuff. So go check them out. They also do that special protection on the line set. You get a UV resistant jacket. That way nothing, because here the sun eats everything, nothing will get messed up. The insulation will stay intact and all that. So go check them out. I also want to thank our new sponsors, CallRail. So I've been more into marketing and just online presence with our business. Even though we only do commercial, word of mouth is really good for any business. But once you get to a place where you want to be, a big name online or just anywhere, be recognizable, like I said, online presence, have a nice website, be able to be searchable in Google and all these different search engines, and just have a big presence. You need to know where to spend your money. And all I'm going to say is that CallRail can help you track that if that's something that you're interested in. That way you run those Facebook ads, you run, any flyers or anything that you do, you can track all that stuff with CallRail. That way, hey, I'm spending all this money over here, either handing out flyers or business cards, or I'm spending a lot of money on Facebook ads or whatever online ads that you're running, or it could be a billboard or commercial, whatever you guys are doing for your business. Hey, CallRail can tell you, hey, these are not working so much. These are working really good. Stop spending your money here. Put more money and effort into this, and just be smarter about what you spend. So if you guys are looking to expand your advertising marketing, I would highly suggest looking into CallRail. They are super nice people, and I'm gonna start implementing it in our business. So I've already gotten a walkthrough. I'm setting it up. We're gonna do that journey together. But just from looking at it and getting the demo and getting started with it, it is super nice. So go check out CallRail. I'll leave a link in the description. I also want to thank another new sponsor, Residio. I actually got to sit down with them here at AHR. We're going to have an episode, like a mini episode coming out very soon. They are very behind trade awareness, getting good techs, in the field and more, all that jazz. So they're super supportive of the trades, but basically they help with a sustainable home, and they make it a safer, cleaner, and smarter home. They have so many things that work together. They were showing me the new thermostats that they have going on, how it's implemented together, and all these different little, smart devices that connect and talk to each other. And as far as like a sustainable home, it deals with your energy savings, your security, and of course the HVAC system in your house, air quality, all that they're into everything. And like I said, it just makes for a smarter home. If you guys want to learn more, I'll leave that down below with all the other sponsors of the show. And like I said, we'll have a video episode coming out really soon with Residio. So now that that is all out of the way, all the sponsors, thank you very much. Now we can get into the episode. And like I said, the HVAC Visionaries, a young up and coming group. A lot of you guys probably know them. I've already had each one individually on the show. So if you want to go look for those episodes, I'll link them down below. That way you can quickly find them, get their individual stories. But in this episode, we kind of just talk quickly about what they're doing and how they got into it, and more so the conversation of next generation and old versus new. And we'll address those those crazy rumors and find out what I got going on this year. So without further ado, enjoy the episode.
How he does his oil equipment videos. Yeah. Customers seem to be out there.
You good?
Yeah.
Come sit down. Yeah. All right, we're good to go. Welcome in, everybody. Hola. Welcome to the Reliable HVACR podcast. The very last one, actually, with the special guest. I can hear myself.
Try to fix it. Hold up.
We have very special guests with me today is the HVAC Visionaries. So, we're here at 2025 AHR Expo in Orlando, Florida. Like I said, this is the first time I've been up here at the podcast pavilion, so it's an honor. I appreciate you guys for coming out here and watching the show here live. So, HVAC Visionaries, if you want to go one by one, kind of just, your name, what kind of work you do, and how long you've been in the trade.
My name is Garrett Torrey, also known as G Torrey HVAC on Instagram. I'm a residential and commercial contractor, mostly doing install work with a little bit of service. I've been in the trade for about 9 years now. So take it over, Efren.
I'm Efren Martinez, pure on parole on Instagram, and just been doing it for about 4 years. Try to focus on the high performance HVAC, service, installs, everything. And that's it for me.
My name is Adam Nasser, aka Wolf of HVAC. Been doing HVAC for 5 years now, and mainly do residential service, and that's about it.
So, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to introduce someone named Logan. Logan Hopper or Hopner, something like that. Snow King of HVAC. He's hiding right in the back. He's welcome to come up. He doesn't know that, though.
Yeah. Make room for him. We'll let him introduce himself right here. This is the full group. I didn't think they were all going to make it. You're going to share a mic.
What's up, guys?
Introduce yourself.
Logan, Snow King of HVAC.
What do you do? How long?
Residential. This is my 6th year.
So as you can tell, these are all super young, in the trade, getting into it. So why did you guys start the group HVAC Visionaries?
So the founding of HVAC Visionaries was all behind the HVAC tactical movement. And for those of you guys who are aware of it, it's a group of contractors who want to honor and appreciate people out in the trade. So long story short, I was relatively new to the trade, and we had a bunch of candidates winning an award. And I was like, man, these guys are good. I felt like I was the only one out there in the field just trying to do my best work. And lo and behold, there was other young people out there that I felt like needed to be part of the movement and solely focus on getting young people into the trade. And so that's where it started. And it started with Garrett, and then Adam, and then a bunch of other people. And we've been trying to push the movement since then. So.
Well, that's awesome. You guys are, a young group, like I said. Trying to uplift the younger generation, which I think we do need to do. I've tried to have a lot of the younger guys on the show to kind of give their experience, because I think even at 1 year, 2 year, 5, 9 years, you have a lot to offer to somebody that is just starting out. So whether, someone changes filters, someone does maintenance or checkups, or, you go door to door now to consult.
Not door
comfort.
to door. No, it's not door to door. It is service sales as well.
Service sales.
I mean, yeah, the customers are there already for you. Like, I'm not knocking on doors looking for sales. But I would say I'm more involved in sales now than service.
Because you're good on the customer service part, right?
Yes.
And that's a big, important part
100%.
that young guys don't get. Because when I started, I didn't know how to talk to a customer. And I've been doing this about 18 years now. Took me a good while to actually be able to talk to the customer, and educate them on their system and then what choices they have and why they should go with us, right? Because you got to build that trust.
Yeah. I feel like it's a little bit controversy where I think when it comes to commercial, they say, like, you don't have to have the best customer service. You do commercial. Is that true?
You can get away with it. I mean, I don't see the customer as much as you guys do.
Yeah, on the residential side, if those of you guys who aren't in residential, it's a huge game in trying to win the customer's trust, because you offer the same exact service in their eyes that the million other service companies that are out there. And so winning the customer's trust is the biggest thing that a lot of resi guys face, whereas commercial, I don't feel like it's as much. There's still some sort of winning that's involved, but from my experience, I don't do commercial. So
I mean, if you're the technician, you can get away with it, and there's so much going on right now. Like we discussed AI on the night show, and the AI and remote working is coming into our trade pretty heavily now. Yeah. To where a service tech can go out there and then hand off an iPad to the customer and talk to the sales guy that's in an office and can walk them through like what they need or what they, kind of give them some options and all that. So there's not as much of it in the commercial world, but running my own business with my dad, we kind of split it up. I still have to make those managers, those business owners, restaurant owners, happy, and I have to keep them coming back to us, because in the commercial world, there's like, a dime a dozen, just like residential. Like, there's competition everywhere. So, I had to learn that customer service side, and I was one of those techs that just wanted to go in and out. Yep. I can fix it. I'm good at that part. Just let me do that and let me get out. But I had to learn the customer service, keeping the customers happy and trusting us. Like, you go talk to a customer, they have to trust you. If not, they're not going to call you back.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, speaking of which, there's technology. I'll make it super quick. But there's a technology many people are trying to implement, especially private equity companies are trying to implement, where, those Ray-Ban Meta glasses that have the little camera on there? Well, anyway, this company, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but what they want to implement is the same concept of the Ray-Ban Metas, but then it gets tied to your phone, and all your gauges that are Bluetooth connect to this platform and then get sent over to your service manager, which is at HQ. Okay. And you don't need to know anything about HVAC. And what they're trying to solve is the technician shortage. So you have a service manager out there that's basically walking you through your service call and telling you, hey, check this, check that, check that. And the technician who's actually there doesn't need to know anything, and yet can perform the repair with ease. So whether I agree with it or not, is not for me to say. But
that's like the old school version of, because I've heard complaints. Oh, the technician's always on the phone, right? He's always calling. He's always on the phone. Well, it's because he's calling for help, right? So in the past, it's just they're on the phone trying to get guidance through a service call, which is fine, right? You need help. You call somebody. Don't be ashamed to call somebody for help. Yeah. But if you do it every day, all day, you really don't know anything. They might just be giving you the answers, stuff like that. Yeah. So I think that's just a more inconspicuous way to do it, because somebody's in your ear, like secret agent style, I guess.
Yeah.
And just walking, they can see what you're doing and walk you through it.
Yeah.
So for anybody, sorry,
go ahead.
For anybody who's watching, and then if you're a service tech and you feel like ashamed because of calling somebody, especially
I used to be like that.
I used to be like that too. So if you're on the phone and then the customer's talking to you, they're looking you up and down. I mean, that's because they're probably scared that like you don't know what you're doing. But they gotta understand, like, just don't be ashamed. There's nothing wrong with it. You're doing them a favor, not doing them a favor, but you're trying to help them. You're doing your job.
And you can be honest. If you get stuck, if you 100%. Need to come back, tell the customer that. They appreciate that more than you telling them, no, don't worry, a few more minutes, and he said he was going to be done like hours ago, right?
Yeah.
So be honest and all that kind of stuff. I know we've gone over that before.
100%.
That what you just said, that reminds me of that one that I always tell everybody, is that one video that you had that older man following you around because you were taking out the blower wheel and cleaning it and working on that. Mm-hmm. And the whole time I would not have had the patience because that man was like, are you sure you know what you're doing? What are we doing here? Do you know what, like...
Did you get your tool out of there?
Yeah.
We call those helicopters.
Yeah. So then, but it was cool because you stayed calm and you just talked with him and talked him through it. And, I'm here to, fix your unit, clean your unit, and I want to put it back together. Yeah. And at the end of the call, he was like, congratulating you basically, right? He was like, you did a good job.
Yeah. Believe it or not, but I got actually a lot of hate comments thinking like I was bashing the guy. And I was just like, just answering the questions.
No, that's all you can do.
I think I was doing okay.
And that's all you can do because the opposite of that is like, talking back to him and arguing with him, which is not going to do any good.
Well,
No. Yeah. So, like I said, we're here at the AHR Expo. How many shows have you guys been to?
So this is going to be my third this year.
This is also going to be my third.
Wow. This is my third one, too.
Y'all ride together?
This is my third.
So, I've been to 4. And I've been to every city now. Miami, Florida is a really good location for it. I think the weather's been pretty good versus like last year,
Absolutely.
right?
Chicago, yeah.
Absolutely.
It was cold.
What have you guys seen on the floor that's kind of been cool to you guys?
Navien is coming out with a line to compete with the HVAC space, and I've appreciated Navien's water heater. I'm from Texas, and so we don't mess with boilers or combis or anything like that. I know nothing of that. But we do mess with tankless water heaters. Tankless water heaters are pretty hot, especially out in Austin. And that's a lot of what I'll mess with if I mess with anything water heater related. Navien telling us yesterday that they're coming up with some HVAC equipment to rival the current HVAC space is pretty interesting. Some stuff that I didn't expect that came out from left field. So it's going to be interesting to see how they implement that water side into the HVAC side. So for me personally, the Navien stuff has been
that new cool. HVAC equipment. They had told me about it. Just wait till it comes out. You're gonna like it.
Yeah,
it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's using some technology that we all know and love already, including using some water instead of condenser fan. Well, I think there's still a condenser fan, but uses water for efficient heat transfer. So out in Texas, we have a lot of hard water, and that tends to mess up coils. If you have a heat pump or condenser outside and your sprinkler constantly hits it, it's going to erode that coil pretty quickly.
Yep.
And so it's going to be interesting to see the technology that Navien implements to use the same water from the home and still cool without causing any sort of warranty calls. So I'm interested for sure.
There's people that actually put a sprinkler on their outside condensing unit on purpose,
I've
right?
seen it. Yeah.
You see some wild things on social media.
For sure.
Anything else you guys have seen on the floor? That's kind of cool.
I saw Navac actually. Navac, they have.
I saw that they finally have adapters for a DeWalt only though, like a battery.
Yes. So there's that, and also I haven't checked it out. I'm actually going to go later on today. They have their vacuum pump. Supposedly it tells you when you're supposed to change your oil on it, or it reminds you.
That'd be nice for the guys that don't change it.
Yeah. Just reset the reminder again.
Oh yeah.
Reset. That was cool, and also their gauges. I don't know if you guys saw them. They're probes. Sorry.
They had them there. I haven't checked them out.
They're cool. Probes. They also have like I'm not gonna spoil it too much, but the screen on it also. Like you don't have to connect it to the app. So if the app crashes,
you get your wireless probes, but the screen is actually on it. Mm-hmm. I think only one company hasn't converted to that yet, but okay. I mean, everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, we'll talk on that later.
You seen anything?
Honestly, he took the thing about Navac. I was honestly stoked about the probes because I keep losing my probes anyway. So I was, about to re-up on some anyway. So seeing those was pretty cool.
What is y'all's take on analog versus digital? Because everybody is doing the probes right now. Fieldpiece just came out with their own analog after having the digital S-Men for so long, and now they're doing analog.
Yeah, there's definitely a time and place for analog, and
it's not here.
No.
No, I love my digital gauges. There's nothing more accurate or nothing more easier to use than a digital gauge. But analog gauges are really nice, so you can see non-condensables within the system. That's my only purpose with analogs. They serve as a good backup, but for me, I have been running service calls since I started in HVAC with digital gauges, and I think that's
okay. You started with digital.
I
right?
started with digital gauges, so I think that's how I'm going to keep going unless there's really something that I need to pull an analog out for.
Yeah, I think the digital help out with a lot of pressure tests, vacuum, compared to the analog. I mean, I like my analog for R22 systems or something a little more simpler, or die systems.
Definitely.
But other than that, I'm more of a digital gauge guy.
100% probes. I mean, not even digital. I mean, I still use my digital for like bigger stuff. But
Did you start with analog or
I
just
started
straight?
with analog. It didn't last that long.
Oh,
Probably
okay.
like a month or like less than a month.
Yeah.
And the reason I started with analog is because I bought this really cheap kit.
Yeah.
And it came with it, and I had no idea that there's something called digital gauges.
Yeah.
Once I saw a coworker, I'm like, how much is it? And then I just went to the next supply store and just bought it.
Just give me that. Yeah.
And then once I discovered about the probes, I'm like, there's no going back.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's kind of the same thing for me too. Like my old teacher would talk about how the old school guys would flick the gauge on the analog. It's like getting it close. It's like accuracy is obviously a big thing because the more accurate you are, the easier your job is. The more likely people are going to trust you, the better it's going to work. So same with Adam. I started with a little bit of analog. Easily, quickly moved to the digital, and no reason to really go back. But there are some tools that not function, but you can give you can show your homeowner a lot easier. My mind's drawing blank, but where you can check static pressure with, is that anemometer? What's that?
A manometer.
But the analog, does it have a different name?
Yeah, it's got that whippy thing. Ty,
Yeah, and it's
Ty
got
probably knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, slings like psychrometer for sure. For those of you guys watching at home or out in the audience, this is our perspective being young technicians. So for us, I mean, Facebook was already out by the time that we were born. So there's it's hard for us to go back to. It's hard for us to go.
There was already YouTube and all this other stuff when I started. You couldn't find a manual online for anything, and I struggled sometimes, but. Yeah, that analog versus digital, it's still, I have a hard time defending analog now because you can go straight into digital and get accurate readings. You can get, like I remember, like you said, you would kind of tap it to make sure it was reading right or the little needle gets stuck. Sometimes you would have to calibrate it back to zero, where the digital ones, they kind of self-calibrate and you can zero them out with a button. So digital, I think, is a good way to be a little more accurate, a little more efficient.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what comes next after digital. I have no perception of how much
it's going to be built into the system now. I think because they're starting to do that too.
Yeah, York's really cool with their digital gauge on the inside of the panel. I've never messed with one.
That was Bosch, right?
No, York.
So Bosch also has a digital readout, and just pretty much you can go through the little board or screen on there and just kind of go through different sequences, I guess, and you can check saturated temp, you can check pressures, you can check subcooling, everything right off the outdoor, just kind of pushing through the buttons on the board. So,
Is that on all their units?
Yeah, it's all in the outdoor units where you kind of get that, all of them. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
See, the only problem with that, you still have to know something because I deal with electronic and digital in the refrigeration space, right? So light commercial, walk-in boxes, smaller systems. And I was chasing my tail one time because we installed one, I set everything up, and, it said it had a good superheat or, it had all this information that I was going through the display through and checking everything. Everything was set right. Could not wrap my head around it. We waited in. I knew everything was done right. And you start to second guess yourself when stuff happens, right? And finally, I was like, I'm just going to start hooking up and checking everything manually. And I figured out the transducers were out of whack. They were bad from factory. So then that's where my knowledge and skill had to come in, where, the digital, the electronic had failed. So, you still got to know how to read things and fix things, but electronic, I think, just makes it, easier. But you still got to double check.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Yep. That one gave me a hard time. I was so upset.
Yeah. those calls happen from time to time, and I think that's entirely normal to a degree. Obviously, you don't want them happening all the time, but that's just how you grow, how you learn. It's the mistakes and how you make them and learning how to correct them is what grows you as a technician.
So I know you guys are still early in your career, but I can still think of like a lot of mistakes I made, and I'm sure you learned from them.
Yeah.
How important is it to have a good mentor around in your early stages?
Go ahead.
I think it's absolutely crucial. My first 3 years, I worked with a small residential contractor that was just focused on high quality, just doing things right by the book. And that, first 3 years really instilled a lot of, the, traits that I have today and that I carry on and teach my apprentices. Even when I switched companies, things may have been done a little differently. I always stuck to kind of my quality and the work ethic I had, and it's kind of paid off, tenfolds for sure.
I think where you start as an apprentice is finding the right people to direct you in the right direction.
Yeah.
For me, I was around a small group of guys who had a high expected such high quality, high results from someone who knew nothing about the trade when I first started. And because of that, they pushed me in all the right directions with people like Brian Orr from HVAC School, Craig Migliaccio with AC Service Tech, Ty Branneman with Love to HVAC. In fact, Ty's here in the audience right now, looking beautiful as always. But yeah, needless to say, these guys are educators, right? And it's your job to find them and learn the best from them, for sure. And that's how truly you elevate the trade. So mentors are crucial. You don't need to have the same mentor for the rest of your career. Finding and upgrading mentors, because there's only so much that a single mentor can teach you. So I've been cycling through mentors for a long time, and there's no way around it. You should find one, you should elevate with them, and then move on to the next one when you guys exchange ideas as best as you can.
I just want to point out, too, that, with this whole social media era that we're in now, I feel like it's never been easier to have mentors. And it's not just one. You can have multiple. I got, this person, and, just all a mentor can really be is someone that can give you advice, uplift you, and when you need help, you get the help you need.
Yeah, and I have guys that I've worked with at previous companies that I still call day to day.
Oh, yeah.
They've been looked after me from day one. So, and they're still they're helping me out on Friday night or Saturday night in a pinch, and thankful for those guys for sure.
Yeah.
No, I agree. When it comes to the mentor thing, I feel like when I first started, it was hard to find somebody that would take me under their wing.
I had that too.
Yeah. So I definitely found a mentor back in California, and I'm very good friends with him. He did teach me a lot of things that I know the right way too. And when I discovered social media, just like we all said, I have more than one mentor. That's for sure.
That's awesome, the social media thing, because when I started, I had mentors too. Now my whole thing was I still had to learn on my own after work, and that's what I've noticed about a lot of the guys that I've interviewed on the show is the common factor is after work, they looked up more things, they read the manual, they wanted to educate themselves on more and more and more, and not just clock out, right? So that's when you're passionate about work, HVAC, and I would do that. And I had some mentors, like you said, you could still call them to this day, and they'll help you troubleshoot over the phone. Sometimes you just need to talk it out, and when you're talking it out loud, you might, I didn't check this, or I didn't see that, and you figure it out that way. So I had a couple mentors that helped me with certain tips and tricks too, because there's some stuff you don't see in a book that they're like, hey, in a pinch, do this, do that. And plenty of weekends and late nights where I was very happy to have those tips and tricks.
Yeah.
And I can still call them and talk to them, talk HVAC. But the social media thing has just opened the door wide open.
For sure.
I can find anybody I need to that specializes in something if I have a question. So that's where I like that community, and what you guys are doing too, trying to help out the younger kids, make it cool. I think that's what we need to do and get them in the trade.
Yeah, I called Brett Wetzel a long time ago because we had just finished visiting one of his coolest facilities.
You have to be careful when you call Brett, though.
Well,
I've called him too.
Well, that's where I was going with the story.
Okay.
Is I had intended to only call him for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes because I had a quick question about refrigeration, and it was not 10, 15 minutes that we were on the phone. We were on the phone for 2 hours. Yep. Over 2 hours we were talking about refrigeration, we were talking about inverter systems, and oh my goodness, it was endless talking. I couldn't figure out how to get out of it. But it's so engaging that you're just
Can't
there.
stop.
Yeah, you're just there, you're listening, and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. Oh my gosh, I didn't think about this.
Yep.
You know, and so it just doesn't stop. When you find someone who's passionate, finding a passionate mentor is going to be the best way to find the best mentor. That's my opinion.
It's better to have that than not have it, right?
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I've had those 3 a.m. calls with Brett before, and yeah, it's something else. But he's passionate. That's what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
So, as part of the younger generation, because I've seen this where I've spoken to older techs, younger techs, like the generations change. You know, their interests, their wants, their needs. So right now, or you can think of it in your early career. What are things that you guys are looking for, or what are things that you think the next generation is looking for in a job or a career? Because I think that's changed quite a bit now.
Yeah, I would agree. I think in the past, the responsibilities and the level of commitment were different, and a lot of that has changed. Some for the better, mostly for the worse, I think, in many cases. And now I think what we're seeing is a swing back in the positive direction, a net positive overall, I think. I think moving forward, some of the things that are being currently addressed through a lot of educators in many different ways is owning up, taking a lot of personal responsibility on the stuff that you do, on your personal craft, and also in your personal education. And I would hope that trend continues, along with bringing back innovation in sophisticated ways, not so much stealing ideas from other people. So that's my opinion of it, and I hope we go in that trade. I can't really think of anything else on my mind that's a desire that's not currently being attended to. So.
I would say the same thing.
Yeah, I was going to just piggyback off
so
that.
like, what's important to you guys when you look for a job or anything like that? Like, because I've heard different things. Like, generations now want that time back. They don't want to be working 24/7.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I think it was the other way around.
100%, yeah.
I've noticed that a little bit. I don't know if you guys can relate, but like I just don't feel like guys our age usually sometimes in the field, or when I first started out, like I literally gave it all I had and kind of doubled down on it when I first got in the field. I ate crap for that first 3 years usually.
I still do.
And the biggest thing for me is I needed somewhere to grow and like actually better my skills. I've been getting enough repetition and like kind of being a diverse in the trade itself. And then another thing too, like it's you like a lot of guys, they need that 40 hours or they need that 45 hours, especially at that time, even to get that extra time in to learn. And like it's tough to keep guys if they're ending up at 38, 39 hours. I mean, if they're there 5 days a week or so, you got to figure out something for them to do because at the end, like I've been in that boat, like it puts a bad taste in your mouth over time and like can really kind of hurt you a little bit in the long run.
It does.
Yeah, and I also want to add on like the flip side of that, people that are working too much. I think this newer generation that comes into, like they're looking really for that work-life balance. A lot of the
That's what I was getting at.
before us was, hey, they've been working so hard, and a lot of that comes back to men's mental health too, because a lot of people that are working so much, they're working 60 hours a week, they never see their family. So I think that as we are kind of our generation's kind of coming through and taking in, I think we're really trying to make it a point to where, hey, we're going to have our time off when it needs to be, because it doesn't always have to be work. We get to also enjoy the money that we make too.
See, I have that issue with the guys that work for us. So like the older guys, I can't get them to stop. Right, I'll take every overtime weekend. I'll take all the after-hour stuff, and I got it. I'll take this call, because I get it. Sometimes you're in a situation where you need that money, and I totally get it. But I see it firsthand because I have to kind of oversee everybody, right? So I can tell when a guy's working too much and he's burnt out. I mean, I'm sure you guys have dealt with burnout. Yeah. And as you pointed out, the mental health thing, like, It's physically and mentally. And I've had to kind of interject and, tell him to take a break, right? There doesn't need to prove anything. If he needs the money, that's always there. It's always an option. But, take it easy. Take a little more time on calls. I feel like some generations will just rush through or try to knock out what they can, and they're worried about doing the best for their business or their boss and stuff like that. And what I've heard a lot of is the work-life balance now, right? That's coming back around to you want to work hard in those 40 hours, whatever it is that you got, and then you want your time with your family. I mean, I think that's super important, or free time, whatever it is, because you can't be working 24/7.
Yeah, there's something to be said about the hard work that people put in, right? And there's no way going around it. You have to put in the hours. You have to put in the work to an extent. And I think that's where it ends, is at a certain point, I think there's a way that you guys, for me personally, I started a new company this year, and while it's still small, I have gotten away from the volume sales of HVAC and started to work and focus on the craft sales of HVAC. And so that's how I separate myself from my competition. 90% of other contractors out there are all doing volume-based business. And there's not necessarily everything wrong with that, because you still have consumers who still look for the best price and look for, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's also a lot of consumers who are learning the hard way that maybe I should go with the more expensive guy. Maybe there's a reason why he's more expensive.
Yeah.
And some of them have learned the hard way of getting a nice $2,000 system or nice $4,000 system, or renting an HVAC system, and they get absolutely demolished by that, and it never works out for them. And because of that, they start to seek the more craftsmen of HVAC. And so that's what I see in the residential field, and that's what I stronghold my market on, is the fact that I am different, and that I do perform a service that is hard to compete with. And I'm more than happy to walk away from sales and calls so long as I can keep my quality high. And not everyone's capable of doing that, but getting in with the right group, being able to advance your education and find things that average contractors can't, is how you would grow, in my opinion.
That's what I like, and we had to learn that too. We took on everything. Like, you have to know when to say no, and kind of do what you do best, and grow from there. And there's a ton of things that go into running a business, and as far as like the pricing, we struggled with that so much. We were like super cheap, dude. Like, we were like $45 an hour for our business when we started 18 years ago. And I knew at that point we were too cheap, but we were getting calls, but they weren't the calls you wanted. Yeah. And nothing against the people that are looking for the cheapest because of situations or anything like that. You're going to get those every now and then. But I think I talked to somebody recently, and it's like, as far as like discounts, or like if you do drop your price, that's up to you as a business owner, right? Yeah. So we do help out certain customers in certain situations, because you see a lot, right? Yeah. You see, I'm sure you guys see it a lot in residential, like struggles or anything.
I always say, people let, plumbers, HVAC guys, like some people don't even let their family, like we see a lot more than, this, typical person would see, I feel like sometimes, you see every different lifestyle, cultures, everything. It just, kind of opens you up for sure.
Yeah. And look, you can easily tell sometimes by somebody who's looking actually for a good deal, or somebody's really struggling.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as a business owner, you have that choice. I don't ever want to be forced into giving somebody whatever price they're asking for, and then promises of more. Like, I'm going to tell all my friends, I'm going to give you so much business, and they're just looking for a deal, and nothing comes out of it.
Yeah, hey, where's those 10 leads that you're going to toss me, I gave you a great deal. I cut, $2,000 off, $500 off, whatever that number ends up being, and there's your phone's dry. And
I can tell you from experience, it's never worked. It's never worked.
It doesn't.
Yeah. Discounts. I don't believe in discounts in many cases. Yeah, there's a lot of ways.
You have to know your worth.
Yeah. Well, there's soft skills that come with that, right? And so just like Adam was saying, and like Garrett were saying, there's certain instances where you see a homeowner, or at least in the residential space, you see someone who's struggling, and you could see it in their eyes. And not everyone can see it. I feel like people who do have really good soft skills can. And yeah, you can cut discount there. But in many cases, what I feel like is a lot of people discount their work, their craftsmanship. And that's what I don't agree with, is discounting your own work. You should know your worth. Yeah. For me, just like you, when I started my company, I was doing like nearly free service calls and then hoping on the back end. Yeah, hoping on the back end that I was going to make the money. And I stopped that really, really quickly.
Yeah, I'm going to chime in real quick. Yeah, we've had a couple companies I worked for, and we've had situations where, I mean, you waive the diagnostic if they end up going with the larger part replacement. Sometimes to help people out, I mean, in my area, your word of mouth gets around. It's not so much about like reviews or the cheapest price, or it's a lot of it's word of mouth, who you know. But yeah,
so it goes a long way.
It does go a long way, and I think that's different for each market. Like sometimes it's that doesn't really speak volumes. But if you came into like, I would say like my area and try to like just the service sales stuff or anything, like it just wouldn't, like, I don't think it would resonate as well as it would in certain areas.
I think it's that what you're saying, I don't think that would work in bigger cities. Coming from LA, it doesn't exist unless like it's a small community.
No, exactly.
Well, there's different markets, so my market is totally different than what Adam's market is or what Garrett's market is, and so what I have found to work in my market only will work in my market and any similar market.
That's what I always tell people, because now we talk to people all over the country, all over the world, and I'm like, yeah, every region, every market is different. Mm-hmm. The way we do things works for us, where we're at, and it could be different for anybody else. That's why I try not to judge, because everybody does it different. Exactly. And as long as your business is doing well, I mean, that's up to you.
Yeah, that's all that matters. If your business is thriving, that's all that matters at the end of the day. I mean, with an exception of like trying not to be sleazy. I don't like.
I was gonna say being honorable and
being
honest.
honorable and running a profitable, good business with good work is, I think, all that matters.
Good ethics, all that.
Yep.
Yeah,
100%.
So. As far as like you guys being in the trade, would you recommend other kids up and coming to get into the trades? And maybe like, what's your favorite thing about it?
Yeah, I would 100% recommend it. I mean, I started out in like community college. I had 2 credits left, and I kind of got into this as like a summer job. And after that, I just ran with it. I mean, I've never looked back after that. I mean, it's a rewarding job. You have a sense of accomplishment, whether you're fixing a part, fixing a service call, doing a new system replacement. Like, at the end of the day, you have something to walk away with, usually. Unless you can't get it running that day, which is always, you always have those days where you're like, I'm sorry, I can't get you going today. But, I mean, as long as you get it going eventually, then you're good.
Yeah, there's a statistic that NCI, National Comfort Institute, did several years back, I think. I can't remember how long it's been. But last I saw it published was 1 in 7, for every 7 veterans that are leaving the trade, only 1 green technician is coming in to fill that spot in. And that was really where the HVAC visionary mindset and the movement started from. I was like, there's no way that I'm the only one out here. And so that's why I found a group of kids just like myself who are driven and motivated to making something better of themselves. And so all in all, I think all the trades are facing this issue where it's starting to be extremely difficult to find people to replace veterans and or veterans who were in the trade. And I think that's a good spot to jump off of and branch off of, because there's a lot of potential, a lot of revenue that you personally, if you're new to the trade, you can gain by exploiting that, in a positive way.
I do recommend it for everybody, every person who, whether they don't know what they're doing or they're interested in doing something that's not college, I would 100% recommend it. Like,
or if you don't fit in somewhere, because like me, like I couldn't do more. I couldn't do more schooling. I couldn't do all. I couldn't sit still. Mm-hmm. I preferred traveling and tinkering with things. Right?
Yeah, like a job doesn't have to. I really do not see HVAC as a job anymore. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, like, if you don't have to be in a boxed office, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not for everybody. So, like, going to work, in an office, like, that doesn't have to be the only successful way. So, doing HVAC, I 100% recommend it. Like, I've been told that, and it is true, that there is no limit.
No,
like you
absolutely.
can keep going and going and going. And coming from an immigrant person, 100% it's worth it. Like, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Snow King?
Well, I kind of want to say too. Then I think this is something that we touch on pretty good. The goods and the bads of HVAC.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not all great.
Some
right?
people can't take it. We're in crawl spaces, nasty crawl spaces. Why I love working with people. Sometimes people are super crazy. It's just like, sometimes you'll have those days where you get beat up, whether you accidentally misdiagnose a unit or, something where you clearly made a mistake.
I've been
you cost
there.
your company money. It's like, that's difficult to take. That's hard to take. I think also understand both sides of it. It's not for everybody, and that's totally cool. But also too, at the same time, it's like if you have a good opportunity to work with your hands and give it a try, why not? It's not like this isn't like going to college where I guess you can go to trade school and spend a bunch of money before you get into it. But like some of us, you jumping straight in the field, you're not at any risk to give this a try and see if this is for you because for someone like myself, I wasn't mechanically inclined at all before I got into the trade. So it really kind of made me and shaped me into who I am. So like something like what we do, HVAC, heating and cooling, it can really, make you into the person that, can be working with his hands, we're in hotels, just fixing stuff that we're staying in. So,
Oh, yeah. I see all everybody's stories that when they
so-
stay in a hotel or whatever, Airbnb.
Yeah.
Ours was locked.
Oh, you tried.
Ours was locked.
You couldn't
Couldn't
get
get
in.
into it, no.
Yeah, and that's
tried.
a good point. Like, it's not for everybody because when Adam was talking about it, like some people will want to work from home. Some people will want to do the office job. And you can actually do that in HVAC too. Like, you don't have to be in the field. You can, run a business or be behind a desk. You can be on the phone, sales. There's a lot. There's controls. There's. I feel like there's something for
Tech
everybody.
support.
Yeah.
Tech
there's,
support.
There's so much that's involved with the HVAC community, from being a distributor to being an educator to being a technician to being someone in the finance realm of HVAC. Like, there's so many crossing paths and intersections within HVAC that it's hard to be involved in the HVAC space and not be happy. So that's my opinion of it.
No, it's awesome. And, there's good and bad. So I've had those bad days. I've done those mistakes that, like you were saying. And you just, if you can take it and move on, that's where you kind of grow. But like Logan was saying, like, I've heard this a lot. Like, try it out. Just go work with somebody, try an apprenticeship or a ride along, however, you go about it. And then if it's not for you, you just get out of it, right?
And most of the time, like, you can actually get paid while you're
To learn.
interning.
Yeah,
Like,
to
that's
learn.
the thing. It's not, you're not really sure. You can find a company where they're not going to pay you, but majority of the time, you're getting paid to actually learn.
Because they need help. There's guys, even like our company, that sometimes we just need the labor. We just need the lifting and kind of just coming along with extra people, and we'll pay for that,
Yeah. That's how I started in the trade. I didn't
And
know anything.
then if you learn quickly, then we hire you full time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another thing. Like, good and bad. I like it because it's rewarding, and even those bad days, I took them and learned from them. And here I am. I run it, so I have to deal with it 24/7. That's a whole other thing. But I love this trade, and I wouldn't be able to do anything else. Now, we're coming to a close. I think we're going to be off in a few minutes. I heard there's some rumors going around about why the podcast is ending. Like, as much as I like the logo up on that podcast pavilion, that's going to be the last time that you're going to see it. How do you guys feel about being on the last episode here?
It's an honor for sure.
I was going to tell you, I turned down so many companies because I was like, I have my guests already set. I had to turn down a lot.
We're very, very honored.
Yeah, you've done an amazing job with the Reliable HVACR podcast, and nothing but a round of applause to you. You have been a net positive in many ways, encouraging and getting people into the trade to begin with, and refining people within the trade, and taking people to the next level. At the end of the day, this is a community, and you've helped this community in a huge way that you will never understand, but many people will. And so congratulations to that.
Thank you. I didn't expect that kind of speech, but that got me a little bit.
Yeah, let me put my notes away now.
No, like just piggyback off that. Like you, Adrian, you've welcomed all of us with open arms. I mean, from early on to now. I mean, from day one, he's been supporting us, the whole movement, the visionaries thing. Like you've been there for us, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, man, you support us since day one. So like, we really, really appreciate it. So all the shout outs and everything that you've done for us, like, we really appreciate it. Like, words cannot describe what we can say.
Thanks.
Honestly.
Jake, so why am I ending the podcast? I didn't get rich. I didn't quit HVAC.
Yeah, so we can talk about it now?
If you want to, what were they saying?
Tell us more.
We want to hear it.
Yeah. Everybody said that you had hit the lottery and you made way too much money just stopping everything.
What? He hit the lottery?
He ended up and he came into some money and he said, yo.
That's it. Private equity came in and won him over.
Pass those along.
Okay.
Face down.
Face down.
Yeah.
Face down.
So none of that happened. I still run a business. I'm still in HVAC. I'm still going to be around. So Efren, can you read what that
I saw
sticker
the Bugatti
says?
outside, by the way.
This is the Reliable Trades podcast now.
So why stop at HVAC? I just wanted to be able to do trade awareness. That's kind of where the goal has been the past few months, talking to other trades. HVAC is by far the best trade to me. We do a little bit of everything.
100%.
We do a little bit of everything, and the commercial world has been very great to me as far as, traveling and seeing different things, kinds of equipment, to where it's, it could be a reach-in cooler, a small kitchen. I could be on a rooftop. Like, I love the variety that this trade gives us. So from here on out, I'm going to be having other trades on the show. So if you guys ever, want to check out the old episodes, they're still going to be there. This was a great finale for it. I really wanted to I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I wanted to get all you guys together on stage. So I'm glad that you guys made it. It's been an honor to have you guys on here.
Yeah, the honor goes both ways for sure. You've done absolutely everything amazing and executed everything perfectly. There's nothing better than hearing this great news of the Reliable Trades podcast. So from us personally, and for me personally, I want to thank you, and I wish nothing but the best for the Reliable Trades podcast.
Thank you. So, I think that's it. I'm just excited to bring more awareness to the trades in general, and I kind of wanted to open that up. Thank you guys for coming on.
I wish you the best of luck. I know you're going to kill it out there with all the trades, plumbers, electricians, even though we don't get along.
We're going to get them all.
We'll get them all.
Can we get a round of applause? Round of applause for Adrian.
100%.
I didn't hit the lottery or anything like that, so I'm still here.
So whose Bugatti is that outside?
Yeah.
I'm not driving Lamborghinis. All right,
Thank you,
thanks,
Adrian.
guys.
All right, thank you, Adrian.
No, I don't have the visionary one. Yeah, that's the grab one. No, just that. Do you have?
No, I don't.
I've already been recording.
Gotta get off that. I know. I'm gonna have
I get a what? A logo? Oh yeah. When it comes to branding, I could probably get my old graphic designer to do it.
Hey, Garrett, you want to put this? Are you trying to?
I was gonna lay them out. We just had it. I haven't gotten to see it. Yes, sir. How's it going?